Hi YouTubers, in today's video we're going to be making this gorgeous tier dress for little girls. My daughter is 8 years old, so this dress is going to be made to fit her. She wants to say hi before you can proceed.
Hi. Hi. Welcome to Q's. Welcome to Q's.
To make the dress, we're going to make use of this basic pattern. This size is going to fit an 8-year-old girl. You can get your own basic patterns from 3 years up to 14 years for girls. I'm going to leave a link on the description box. We put the sleeve aside since we're not going to use it. I've also transferred the basic patterns onto another pattern paper. This is the front end, this is the back. Also note that the basic pattern is up to the hip area. Next, we're going to cut off this portion. The measurement for the girl that we're making the dress for are as follows. The bust is 71 centimeters, the waist is 65 centimeters, and then the waist to knee is 45 centimeters. So we are going to start by measuring around the bust area. We are getting 20 centimeters. Also the waist is 20 centimeters. The same thing will apply to the front. It is 20 along the bust and also 20 along the waist. If we multiply 20 by 4, we are going to get 80 centimeters, which is much bigger than our bust. Remember, the child who owns the dress has a bust of 71 centimeters. So if we add 5 centimeters for ease, that is going to be 76 centimeters. So we are going to divide 76 by 4 and the answer will be 19 centimeters. Therefore, we are going to measure 19 centimeters along the bust like so. Make a mark. The waist is 65 centimeters. If we add 5 centimeters for ease, we're going to get 70 centimeters. Therefore, we divide 70 by 4. The answer is 17.5. Along the waist, we measure 17.5 like so. And then we're going to draw a straight line. We do the same on the front. We measure 19 centimeters like so. Then along the waist, we also measure 17.5 centimeters. Next, we join the dots. Next, we are going to cut off the excess. Next, we are also going to alter the neck. We're going to measure 2 centimeters along the side like so. And then we're also going to measure 3 centimeters going down like so. Next, we're going to redraw the neck. On the back, we do the same thing. We measure 2 centimeters along the side. And then we can also measure another 2 centimeters going down like so. Again, we're going to redraw the neck. And then we can check just to make sure that everything is aligned. Next, we're going to cut off the excess. Now, this is our final bodice that we're going to work with. This is the sketch of the dress that we're going to make. It is a circular dress with 3 tiers. This is the first tier, the second tier, and the third tier. Now we're going to take this circle as the waist of our dress. From the center of the circle, we're going to draw a straight line up to the end of the circle right here. And we're going to name that line R. We want to find the distance of this line. So in order for us to get the distance of this line, remember we said our waist, the total of our waist is going to be 70. So we're going to divide the waist by 6.28. We're going to get 11.1 centimeters. We said the waist to knee is 45 centimeters. And therefore tier 1 is going to be 45 centimeters from the waist up to the knee. Now we're going to find tier 2. This is the distance from tier 1 to tier 2. I want to make the distance to be 12 centimeters. We are going to say 45 minus 12. The answer is going to be 33 centimeters. And then again, we're going to find tier 3. Tier 3 is equal to this distance between tier 2 and tier 3. So it's going to be 33 centimeters minus 12 centimeters, which is going to be 21 centimeters. Now on all these measurements, we are going to add a sewing allowance. So we are going to add 2 centimeters, which is our sewing allowance. That means tier 1 is going to be 47 centimeters, tier 2 35 centimeters, and tier 3 23 centimeters. So let's go ahead and cut the skirt. Now we are cutting tier 1 for our skirt. We are going to fold the fabric into 4 like this. This is the folded edge of our fabric. The length of the folded square is going to be 62 centimeters by 62. Next, first we are going to make the circle at the top. We are going to measure this out from this folded edge of our fabric. That is, we are going to measure 11.1 centimeters all around. And then we are going to join the dots. Next, from here to the bottom, we are going to measure the distance from our waist to our knee. From the waist to the knee, we have 45 centimeters. And remember, we're going to add the 2 centimeters for the seam allowance, which means we're going to have 47 centimeters. We measure 47. Next, we join all the dots. Next, we're going to start by cutting along the waist. This is the circle that we were talking about. Next, we cut from here all around. Next, at the back, we are going to have a seam where we are going to insert a zipper. So we are going to open right here. So this is tier 1. We then put it aside and cut tier 2. For tier 2, we are going to do the same. We are going to cut a fabric into a square and then fold it as I folded it now. This is the corner, which is the folded edge for our square. The length of our square is roughly 48 centimeters by another 48 centimeters. We are first going to measure the distance around this circle, which is going to be 11.1 centimeters. Join the dots. Thereafter, for tier 2, we said the length is going to be 33 centimeters plus 2, which is going to be 35 centimeters. Measure 35 around. Again, we join the points. We start by cutting the waist. Next, we are going to open this portion. This is tier number 2. We'll put it aside. Next, we are going to cut tier number 1. The length of the square is roughly 36 centimeters by 36 centimeters. Again, we are going to start measuring from the folded edge. Measure 11.1 centimeters. Join the dots. The length for our tier 3 is 21 centimeters plus 2, which is going to be 23 centimeters. Join the points. Next, we are going to cut around. Tier number 3. Next, we are going to cut the bodice for our dress. This is the back and this is the front. Make sure the grain line is facing that direction. I've already traced the patterns onto the fabric and I've done the same for the front so we can remove the pattern. Remember, at the back we are going to have a zipper, so I left a sewing allowance right here and we're going to cut open these 2 pieces. For the front, I didn't leave any sewing allowance, I just folded the fabric as you can see. Next, we're going to cut around the pattern pieces, leaving a sewing allowance of 0.5 of an inch. Around the neck, I'm not going to leave a sewing allowance. Now we cut the front, no sewing allowance along the neck. Now this is the bodice, these are the 2 pieces for the back and this is the front. Next, we are going to cut out a facing for the neck of our dress. We are going to place the front as I've done on a piece of fabric like so. Next, we are going to trace around. Next, we can remove the front. And then we're going to measure 6 centimeters from the neck around like that. Join the points. Next, we cut out the facing. Fold the fabric into two, and then we place the back like so. Next, we're going to trace around. Next, remove the back, and then again measure 6 centimeters all around from the neck like that. Join the points. Next, we're supposed to cut a long strip of fabric which is supposed to be 3 centimeters by width like so. But in my case, because my fabric was short, I decided to cut 2 strips instead of 1 long strip. We are going to start by sewing the borders. These are the facings for the borders. We've already cut an interfacing which is going to stabilize the facings. We place the interfacing on top of the facing, making sure that the glued side is facing the fabric. Next, we're going to press down this interfacing onto the facing. This is the facing after pressing the interfacing using a steaming iron. Next, we're going to pin the facing onto the borders. Next, we're going to sew around the pinned area using a sewing allowance of 0.25 of an inch. We have sewn around. Next, we're going to make small cuts around the seam. We have to make sure that we don't cut through the seam here. This is how everything looks. Next, we are going to flip over the facing like that, making sure the seam faces that direction like that. We'll do the same to the back. The facing has been pressed upwards, as you can see. This is how it looks on the wrong side. Next, we are going to sew a small seam next to the edge right here all around up to this end. Next, we have sewn the small seam next to the edge, as you can see, and then we have done the same on all the pattern pieces. Next, we are going to flip over the facing onto the wrong side of the fabric, and the neck will be nice and neat like that. This is the neck after pressing down using an iron. This is the correct side of the fabric. We're going to attach the back and the front of our bodice like so. Next, we're going to sew around the shoulders and also along the sides. We have sewn along the shoulders and also along the sides. Next, we're going to overlock the shoulders and also the sides. This is the bodice after overlocking it. We have also overlocked the center back. Remember these 2 strips that we cut earlier on? We're going to use them to finish off the armhole. Take 1 strip like that and then attach it, right sides facing each other like so. Make sure you leave about 0.75 of an inch and let it overlap from the other arm. And then pin around. This is how the armhole will look. Next, we're going to sew around both the armholes. We have sewn the strip around the armhole, as you can see. This is the wrong side of the fabric. At the bottom, we have also sewn and closed together the strip. This is where we have sewn just a straight line right here. We have done the same thing this side, and we have also sewn along to close the strip. Next, we are going to trim the excess like so and leave about 0.25 of an inch. Next, we make some small cuts all around the armhole. This is how it's going to look. Make sure that you don't cut through the seam. Thereafter, we turn to the correct side of the fabric. Next, we are going to push the seam towards that direction. I hope that you guys can see, like that. And then we fold over the strip to cover the seam like that. And then we fold again. And then we pin. We've done the same thing on both the armholes. Next, we are going to sew around the pinned area on both sides. This is how the armhole will look on the correct side. This is the back. And we are done making the bodice. Next, we are going to start working on the skirt. This is tier 1. Next, we are going to place tier 2 on top of tier 1. This is tier number 3 for our skirt. The other tiers like so. Next, we're going to pin the 3 skirts together and sew them around the waist. Next, we're going to sew around the waist up to here. This is how the skirt looks after sewing around the waist. Next, we are going to overlock the bottom of all the 3 skirts. This is how the skirt looks after overlocking. Next, we're going to hem the bottom of all the skirt pieces like that. This is how the skirt looks after hemming all the layers of the skirt. Next, along the center back, which is the side, we're going to leave 4 inches from the waist like so and make a mark. We are going to attach the 2 pieces of the back from here down to the bottom. We attach some pins right here. This is how the skirt looks after sewing right here at the center back. Next, we're going to attach the skirt with the bodice. We are going to fold the bodice into half like that. And then we're going to make a notch at the center front. This is how it looks. We'll do the same on the skirt. Next, we're going to make a notch on the center front. This is how it's going to look. Next, we turn over to the correct side. And then we are going to match the center front with the center front of the bodice like so. Next, we're going to sew around the waist. This is the dress after sewing together the bodice and the skirt. This is the front and this is the back. Next, we have to attach the zipper. Next, I'm going to press open the center back like so. We have pressed open the center back and then we're going to attach the zipper. Going to sew around and attach the zipper. This is the dress. It is complete. This is the back. If you've made it up to this far, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and also click on the notifications bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. Also leave us a comment in the comment section. Thank you. Bye-bye.